Hello and welcome to Notebook Plan. I'm Elizabeth, your host, and I'd like to invite you to listen closely because today we're going to have a little bit of heart-to-heart about our belief system. Now, in setting goals, we are told to structure those out, to sit down and write out our goals. Well, that's really easy to do for most people. And then there are some people, they're going to find that extremely difficult to do. And the reason being is because it's difficult to get around maybe your current situation. Maybe you have individuals in your life who are not supportive, who are not your biggest cheerleaders. They really don't take you serious and they don't pay attention to what you say or what you say you want to do. And maybe they're just not in tune or aligned with what you have in mind and what you feel is necessary in order for you to get the input that you need in order to go forth and reach your goals. So I want to talk to you from my point of view and simply because of my own experience and where I'm coming from, so that you don't think we have a get rich quick scheme or that it's an easy triumph to reach any kind of goal or achieve any ambition that you have. Matters of success are measured by the individual and what they think success is. It is their tune. It is not perceived so much as money. And I want to make that clear because a lot of people get a misconception that success is money. Not necessarily. Success can be resources, being able to open up a community or embrace a community who can share the same like mind. And sometimes it is really, really difficult to think about that or to even know anyone. So I wanted to have the heart-to-heart with you about beliefs. And I'm saying this from my own experience and from individuals that I have shared stories with who have come to me and said, Elizabeth, you talk all about these goals and these big ambitions and achieving this and doing that. And as I coach you, I realize that you may be having a difficult struggle. You may be having a really hard time trying to figure out exactly what your goals are, what it is you want in life, because you have this mind tune and you cannot wrap your head around it. You can simply not see anything outside of the square box that you are in. And that may be, in your mind's eye, the people around you, what you're hearing, because any kind of input, whether it's audible or visual, it's going to influence you. Just the same as they say, birds of a feather flock together, and that is so true. The people that you are around, your husband or wife, your significant other, your relationship, it really truly conforms you and is very influential. Because now what you're perceiving's in this loop, what you're hearing's in this loop, what your input and your output. And it's real hard to have a positive attitude if you're around individuals who are feeding or giving negative input, or maybe they're not giving any input at all. And I understand that so well. I was raised by alcoholics. And these are individuals who, for whatever reason, are fighting their own demons. And they cannot get out of their own way. They do not see and hear what your needs are. They're not going to hear that because these are people who are really, really just twisted up in what's going on with them. The pain that they're feeling, whatever their addiction is and they're hung on. Another thing to add to that ingredient is my mother is not only an alcoholic, but a narcissistic alcoholic. And they're extremely manipulative and they're dangerous. And they will have you believing that the sky is a different shade of color. You may think, oh, the sky is blue. Oh, no. With a narcissist and an alcoholic on top of that, trust me. And because that is the individual that you have looked to be your caregiver, your safety, and to take care of you and protect you and give you security and stability, let me tell you, it is a rocky cliff that you're standing on. It is quicksand, and you cannot get it right. I do not care. You will not ever be good enough, do it enough, do it long enough. It will never be right. And they will hurt you, and they will fuel you up. And I mean, buddy, they will gaslight you in a heartbeat. But they'll turn right around and they'll butter you. They'll butter you up, and, they'll make you think that I love you and I care about you and you're the most important thing to me, until they get what they want. And then when they do, they're going to light you up. They're going to gaslight you. They're going to take the same information, that trust that you thought, that relationship, you thought you got this trust barrier going, and they love me and they care about me, and they really truly are concerned with what I need and my needs. And then all of a sudden, they're going to pull that rug right from under you. They are really truly going to hurt you. And I mean, they cut deeper than a knife, because they know your emotional weaknesses. They know your buttons, and they love to press those little buttons. They love switching you on and off, on and off, on and off. Your weather is predicted by their attitude and their mood. And you truly wake to your every moment in time, every moment in space, every day of your life, wondering, what's my day going to be like? And you don't know what your day is going to be like until you figure out what their day is going to be like. They tune your weather. They control your attitude, and they control how you respond to the world, to life, and all that goes with it. So I am having this heart-to-heart with you. I am telling you from a personal perspective. I sincerely, with all of my heart and all of my being, from my head to the tips of my toes, understand what you are going through. I understand it. I could reach you. I could truly, truly tell you verbatim, word for word, what they're going to say, how they're going to respond to everything, how they're going to react. Because when you live in a household that is so violent, it's volatile all the time, it is quicksand, there is never, ever a sturdy, firm ground for you to stand on. And I want to tell you, in that lifestyle, nothing you can ever do is going to please them. You cannot fix it. You cannot go fast enough. You cannot do it long enough. You cannot do it. All you can do is survive. Now here is the great news I want to share with you on this whole belief system. This is what you're going to have to do. And this is the good news. If you are dealing with someone in your life who gives you no input, could potentially be a narcissistic, they have an addiction like alcohol. You can't fix these people. But what's so cool about this is you are armed with survival skills like nobody else. You have the patience and the tolerance and the biggest heart God ever put in a human being on this earth. And with that, my friend, you have everything, and I mean everything, that you need. This is what I want you to think about in your belief system. There's not a single solitary soul that walks on this earth that does not have a father. So whatever your religious belief is, look to that higher power. Prayer is good. Meditation is good. Keeping a journal is necessary, because you have to get that out of your body. You have to write it down. You have to blare it to someone, and you understand what you're going through. Most people, unless they're in that situation or have experienced that situation, they can't understand you. And if they are in that situation and you trying to converse with them or confide in them about what you're going through, unless they have gotten healthy and they have gotten themselves in a protective center of themselves to where they can be a good ear for you to talk to, a good strong shoulder for you to cry on, and someone that you can confide in, you cannot select that person. You need to find someone. And if you have no one, you look to God or your higher power, whoever you choose that's greater than you, something that's so magnificently greater than you. Use your skills, your survival skills, and get you a cuss journal. You can call it your cuss journal, your confess to all journal, your jot down journal. Anytime that you're feeling anxiety, hurt, pain, fear, anger, write it down. Now what this does is it's kind of like squeezing a sponge. You have now quenched all of that from out of you because you have it written down. So this is where the belief comes into play. Because remember, you are magnificent because you have survival skills that no one else, unless they've been through those situations, can even comprehend. They don't even realize that you have those type of coping skills. You have a coping mechanism. You have a survival instinct unlike any other. Cannot compare. Can't compare. And your heart, oh my wow. You are a person so full of love and patience and tolerance. Now, if you channel those same strengths, take those same strengths within you, hold them tightly, and be proud of those skills and start using them to your advantage. And that's where the belief comes in. You must, without a doubt, even the greatest challenges that any man or woman have ever been under was under great pressure. I don't care how successful they are. I don't care if they're rich and famous. Everyone has to overcome. Everyone must walk the steps of life and overcome whatever it is that is holding them back. And if this is what is programming you, you have to change your belief system. You have to, in thy own self, be true. To thy own self, always be true. And you may have to do a lot of things incognito. Don't let anyone rain on your parade. Don't let anyone know what you're hiding in your little box. You keep that to you. And when you have an opportunity, when you see someone who has strengths that make you feel good about who you are and what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve, that's the person you take up with. That's the individual you start talking to and build that relationship. But make sure, because you have that instinct of survival, you know that if you let that individual that's been hurting you and manipulating you and acting narcissistic in your life will rob you of it. They'll take it away from you. They can't stand it. They cannot stand to see you good. They can't see you happier than them, doing better than them. So there's two things that you've got to do. One, you've got to somehow keep that to yourself. The journal is the greatest way. And if they're an individual to poke into your private affairs, then make sure you write in that journal when they are away, when they can't see you, when they don't know what you're doing. I don't care if you have to pretend you're making out some kind of list of things to do. They do not have to know about your screaming journal, your journal of your confessions and how you're feeling and what's going on in your life. And you can hide that because remember, you're a survivor. You already have coping mechanism. You know how to cleverly put that thing away where no one knows about it. Keep it to yourself. The second thing I want you to remember, you need to write it down. Don't type it on your phone. Don't record it on a computer. You need to physically write it down. Now here's the advantage in that. You can leave it in that journal if you want to, or you can burn that page. Whenever you jot down, I don't care if it's 3, 5 pages, there's been times when I spilt my guts for 10 sheets front and back and started writing diagonal because I ran out of paper. Get it out of your system. Write it down. This triggers your neuroactivity motor, and it tunes the subconscious. It gets in there in your mind, and it really realigns things. It gets you geared up, it gets you excited, and it gets that junk vented out of you. Because that's the biggest relief, is to vent it out. Once you write it down, if you're done, rip those pages out and light them on fire. Now you have given all of that. You have given all that. Now you burnt it up. It's gone. It's gone. You have disintegrated it. You have done away with it. It is yours no more. And this is a regular exercise you have to do. This isn't going to just fix you overnight. But I'll tell you what it'll do. It'll start helping you to figure out which way you need to go. Because no matter what, always remember, if you can't go over it, you can't go under it, you can't go around it, you just have to go through it. That's the only other way. And you can't disappear. You are significant. You are special and important. You are a living, breathing, walking miracle that God created. Use the skills that He's given you. Because what's going to happen is when you start believing in you and you get that confidence, you're preparing yourself for the next great thing to come into your life. Now I want to give you something else on this belief system. It will begin to sink in and you'll start believing in you. And you have to change your belief system and not letting that person get through that barrier in your mind. You keep your needs in there, because there are so many people such as me who are going to share and be your big cheerleader. They're going to be there for you, and they're going to be cheering you on. And as soon as you can, when you have an opportunity, get with those people, of individuals who are giving that type of energy, who do help you to achieve your things and push you forward. Build your own community. Build your own skill sets within, and keep believing in yourself. This journal I talked to you about is significant in writing down everything going through your mind, because in there you're going to uncover what it is you really want. What is it you, deep down inside, truly want? Is it a loving, lasting relationship? Great success and fame? Is it being a part of something much bigger than you that will help others in your situation? Can you teach someone how to get out of your situation? Can you prepare yourself with the skill sets to move yourself away and distance yourself from people who are constantly hurting you? Because the first thing you have to do is disconnect. Get away from them. Change the channel. Find new friends. Find a new way of doing things. And that's where your belief system has to be changed. You have to make a sound mind decision. This is it. I am done. I ain't tolerating with this anymore. I am not living like this anymore. There is something more for me. And you've known it all along. It's been eating at you. It's down in there. You've heard it in your mind. It's this voice that keeps talking to you and telling you you're made for something greater. There's got to be something better beyond this. I don't think God Himself would have brought me through all of this if He didn't have something better for me. Well, I'm here to tell you I'm His messenger, and I'm here to tell you, yes, He does. He has something so much greater, so much greater. Your Father in heaven loves you. He created you, and He equipped you with everything that you need to either use it or find the information so you can use it. Now, I'll give you one last thing that's important. In order for you to deal with certain personalities, in order for you to really, truly equip yourself and deal with people in certain situations, and to educate yourself about personalities, disorders, and things of that nature, find out how certain people act. So if this is someone who is a narcissist, I'm going to recommend to you how I learned my greatest, best information on how to combat it, how to somehow equip myself to know and differentiate, okay, is that a narcissistic thing happening there or is it not? Because I didn't want to, you know, convict this person and charge them with something they may or may not be. I had to be sure. And my background is researching things and finding out how they become what they do. Dissecting them, tearing them apart, being analytical, whatever you want to call it. I have to know. I cannot rule until I have facts. And I needed to be more objective. Check out Fill in the Blanks podcast. That's Dr. Phil. I will put a link in the description box. He broke down the different personalities. These bad personalities, these personalities to be warned about and to equip yourself and understand what it is you might be dealing with. This gives you a leg up by filling yourself with the knowledge and understanding of those that are different than you. Are you so much influence has come in that maybe you're taking on some narcissistic habits? Maybe you have become so codependent on them and how they treat you that you too start doing some of the same personality traits as them. Because remember, you're influenced by those you're around. And it will help you to realize, oh my gosh, I'm doing to other people what they've been doing to me. And I need to stop doing that. So you're going to get educated about these different personality disorders and understand what sets them off, what keys them up, what causes them to do whatever, and how they respond, how they react, and how they treat you. And that is the best fix you can get. By knowing that, it's just like anything else. If you know where the water leak's coming from, then you know what you got to do to plug up the hole so that the water is not coming in anymore. That's common sense. Finding out what different personalities are and which ones are really disorders that cannot be fixed or how they can be fixed, and some of the signs and things that you can look out for that's going to benefit you. It's going to teach you and help you. And as I always say, equip yourself with the knowledge. Go find out. Check it out with somebody who knows what they're talking about. Information that can teach you. And these podcasts are so informative. And he has them in series. I'm going to link you directly to that. And you can follow that podcast and listen to each one of them. I will tell you, you'll listen to them more than one time because you'll want to be sure. And kind of keep them in your library. Label them somehow or another where you can get back to them. And make sure that you are really listening to them so that you get a proper understanding. Now remember, you're going to be doing a lot of this incognito. There is one more that I can recommend to you, but Dr. Phil's going to give you the most. He's going to give you the absolute most. Another way that you can deal with certain situations that may have nothing to do with personality disorders. There are certain ways that you can handle them that can make it better or not better. There's some that can be fixed and some that there's no hope for. But I want you to know you are important. I know you may be in a real bad spot right now. And I know you're feeling the pain and you're feeling so tough. It's really, really hard. And I promise you, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is this grand, beautiful rainbow. And there's so much more to life than you can see inside the box you're living in. And you have to decide. It is so significant. If you're going to believe what others are telling you about yourself, or if you're going to believe in yourself. To thy own self be true. Always. And if you have to do that incognito, use the tools that I'm recommending to you. I will give you more on this subject later, but I really felt it was time to give you a heart-to-heart, to talk to you and let you know you're not alone. And you have not anything to fear but fear itself. Because anyone who lives in those situations, you already are full of courage. You already have managed to live and breathe and still live and breathe if you're listening to this podcast. You're a survivor. And you have somehow managed to use those survival skills, that patience and tolerance, and that just constantly overlooking every little crazy thing they do to you and forgive them and forgive them and forgive them. That takes the biggest heart in the world, to forgive someone who is constantly hurting you. And I'm not talking beating the crap out of you only. I'm talking emotionally and mentally what that does to you. It messes you up. I don't care who you are. It's going to mess with you. And they try to brainwash you and try to make you think horrible things about yourself. And you're thinking, what did I do? What did I do to set this person off? What did I do? You start thinking there's something wrong with you. And I'm here to tell you there's nothing wrong with you. It's them. And you'll actually have the thought in your mind, am I crazy? Or are they crazy? Well, I'm here to tell you, you need to find the answers to those questions, because I don't think you're crazy. I think anyone that's listening to my podcast, that is a sharp tack. That is a strong-minded person who wants more in their life, who is going to succeed at it as well. Trust me, I've been there. I know exactly what you're dealing with, and you are not crazy. You want something more in your life, and guess what? You deserve it, because you're thinking that way. If you're thinking there's got to be something better, there's got to be more to this world than what I've been experiencing. There's got to be so much more out there than what I am seeing and hearing. I've seen pictures. I've seen these in movies. I've heard about them on radios. I've heard about friends that talked about these places and went these places and done these things. I am here to tell you, they exist. Those things are real. And it is in you to go look for them, because you're already thinking about them and you're already questioning, why is this person the way they are? Why do they do this? Now, it's real hard to give up on somebody that you're in love with. It's real hard to give up on someone that you've depended on to be your caregiver and provide for you, such as my mother. That's real hard. You're not giving up on them. But you are trading in this abuse, this pain, this infliction that keeps happening to you over and over again for that greater thing that I promise you is out there. But you have to go look for it. If I could bring it to you and hand it in your hand and go, here is the world, it is yours, I would. But unfortunately, no one can do that for you. And that's what they mean. When you have to find your own happiness, you have to find your own stream. That's what they mean. And you have to decide, I don't believe that the world is a cruel place and that there are horrible people, and that because you're living with the mad person. You're living with the person that's doing this to you. You're tolerating with them. You're putting up with it. They keep bringing it back to you, bringing it back to you, bringing it back to you, and they keep blaming you. Well, guess what? It's not your fault. They are the one with the issue, not you. It's become your problem because they're up your butt bothering you, and keep on and keep on and keep on and keep on. But I'm here to tell you, you have to make a decision. And it's hard to get to that spot. So before you can get to that spot, you are going to have to sit down and visually see, write it out. When you're upset, when you're hurt, when you're angry, when you are feeling overwhelmed, just start writing. And tears may flow. I'm going to tell you, the sheets are wet. I'm not going to lie. Those papers. But remember what this podcast is about. Notebook plan. And the reason why I name it is because everything I've ever achieved in my life, every goal, every ambition, every dream come true, started with me writing it down and making a decision. That's what you have to do. And sometimes you just have to swing it until you can overcome that belief system and retune yourself. Believe in you, because you wouldn't be questioning them acting like a mad person and just what is wrong. They're crazy. Something's really, really wrong with this person, if you didn't know that there was something better. Because remember, as soon as you ask that question, you've already gotten your answer. The answer is yes, there is something better. something greater, and it's waiting for you. It's been sitting there waiting for you all along. You've been hearing that voice inside your head. That's sickening within your heart, like you know it's some kind of something eating at you, and you want out. You want to go get this wonderful world that everybody talks about, and these great, wonderful rewards, and all these things, and see all these beautiful places, and go in these places you've never been before, and hear the music you've never heard before. See these great big monuments that have been made by people who have influenced us in a positive way in our lives. I mean, good gracious, if it wasn't possible, then I'm sure wherever you're listening to me from, I guarantee you there is a Starbucks, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bojangles, some kind of McDonald's restaurant. These are people who pioneered their way through the mud and the blood and the sweat and the tears, and they climbed on top. And they didn't let anyone say, you can't have that. When someone said that to them, that's when they went, whew, don't see you, don't hear you, get behind me. And kept trucking on. And that's what you got to do. And also, Brandon Burchard, he also gives little segments on videos about relationships, and just little small, videos. I will put the link to that underneath this podcast as well, and go check it out, and it will give you some more information too. Actually identify certain things, but it will set you up per se. Make sure you're getting positive input, that you're getting the right information, and you're hearing it from people who have achieved it and succeeded at it and already been through. And I try not to cuss on here, but they've already been through the fire, and they've come out on the other side, and some of them are still there. Some of them are still dealing with the fire, but they are there for you. They're giving you good information, and trust me, you just keep listening. Now, I know sometimes you're going to be listening to one or hearing something or seeing something, and you're going to go, that is ridiculous, because I know better than that, because I've tried it, it didn't happen to me. Well, when you are out of tune, when you are not aligned with a belief system and an understanding of the possibilities within yourself, you're not going to believe what's coming out of their mouth. You're not going to understand it or hear it. It can't get in, because you've already put up that wall. Because remember, your trust has already come under fire 24/7. Because you live with an individuals, or you're surrounded by people who aren't looking for anything better in life, not ambitious, and they see everybody as responsible for them not getting what they want. They're too busy blaming and pointing fingers and throwing other people under the bus and gaslighting them. And then the next thing, oh, so-and-so's great. But then, boom, they'll throw them under the bus. They'll be the first one to throw them out there, save their own butt. That's going to be the individual. If the building's on fire, you're not going to see them. They're going to be gone. And you're going to be in there praying that somebody finds you and that you can escape, you can get out. So trust me, these individuals, just keep listening. It'll get through to you, I promise. Don't give up on you, and you change your belief system. You start gearing yourself to understand so that you can hear loud and clear what they're saying. Follow the beat of their drum. They will give you the information that you need to equip yourself, and you'll push through. You will. And when you climb that mountain, you'll be ready to scale the next one. And just bear in mind, those mountains you've been carrying around, they're for climbing, not for carrying. So unload them and start climbing them mountains. Don't carry them mountains around on your back. This is Elizabeth with Notebook Plan. Have a wonderful, grand life. Believe in yourself, because I believe in you. And I look forward to any comments. Share this podcast with somebody you feel like it can help them. It would be a positive influence on them. I appreciate it. And if you're listening from YouTube, be sure to click subscribe. On any podcast, be sure to follow. And I appreciate all the likes, because hearts, they make us all feel good. Have a grand day.